Hello everyone, I hope you all are set to go ahead with the next session of your English literature for chapter 2, The Tsunami. Well students, before we actually commence reading the chapter, let us take a quick recap of the last class. Well students, so what did we learn in the last class? We learned what a tsunami is, tsunami and its disastrous effects, the location of the tsunami of December 2004, the huge damage the tsunami caused to property and human life, a few incidents and stories of people who displayed immense courage, grit, determination, and also virtues of humility like kindness, sacrifice, and diligence. Well, students, what we learned so far was about human life. Now, did you not wonder what happened to other habitats? That is the animals, birds, and the entire marine life? Alright, in this segment of the chapter, we would read and study the effects of the tsunami on the animal life in few parts of India and Sri Lanka. Few incidents are described in this segment to know and understand the animal behavior during this disastrous calamity. Let me share with you few images of the impact of the tsunami on the animals. Do you know why there are few images of the animals that were impacted? Because surprisingly, the death of animals was far too less than the death of humans. Isn't it astounding? Well, now let's read and find out how. So, I ask you to flip to page 29 of your textbook. Let's start reading segment 3. Before the giant waves slammed into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. They fled to safety. According to eyewitness accounts, elephants screamed and ran for higher ground. Dogs refused to go outside. Flamingos abandoned their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be enticed to come back out. Many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not. But the fact is that the giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. Along India's Cuddalore coast, where thousands of people perished, buffaloes, goats, and dogs were found unharmed. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. 60 visitors were washed away from the Pathanangala beach inside the park. But no animal carcasses were found, except for 2 water buffaloes. About an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yala National Park had observed 3 elephants running away from the Pathanangala beach. A Sri Lankan gentleman who lives on the coast near Gala said his 2 dogs would not go for their daily run on the beach. They are usually excited to go on this outing, he said. But on that day they refused to go and most probably saved his life. Well, students, before I explain what we read, let me share a few images of the Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, whose events are particularly shared here. Yes, you can see the map of Sri Lanka and the location of the Yala National Park. It is well known for its exotic beauty and wildlife. Now here you can see these captivating images of several animals. The background of each image displayed indicates what an awe-striking place Yala National Park is. Truly amazing, is it not? It is a home to a variety of animals and 130 species of birds. Well, by what we read just now, we comprehend that in India and Sri Lanka, wild animals and domestic animals fled to safety. Well, students, what does this peculiar behavior of animals indicate? It suggests or indicates that animals either possess a sixth sense or have more acute hearing that helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. This denotes that though humans have high intellect, animals have much higher sensitivity. And as proven, animal sensitivity overpowered the human intellect during this tragedy. On 26 December, an earthquake generated massive vibrational waves known as Rayleigh Waves. Rayleigh waves are those which move through the ground. They travel at 10 times the speed of sound. Such waves would have reached Sri Lanka hours before the water hit. Animals, birds and other species can detect Rayleigh waves. The species at Yala and other affected locations might have felt these waves and consequently saved themselves. Now, the question arises, what about humans? Where were our red flags? Yes, we humans do feel infrasound and also Rayleigh waves, though not as intense as animals. But sadly, we have too many things on our minds to pay attention to them, and so we screen them out. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. So, let us sum up this chapter with the learning we would take away and imbibe them as lessons for us. Never take safety for granted. Be alert. Get well informed to the occurrences that anticipate accidents, mishaps, or calamities, and the safety measures for the same. Be kind and empathetic. Extend help whenever and to whoever you can. Be responsible and dutiful. Be strong and brave to take anything that life throws at you. And last but not the least, never give up. Well, students, what do we conclude as we come to the end of the chapter? Let us study the central idea of the chapter. First of all, the phenomena tsunami is always learnt in the subject of geography. Then, did you ever wonder why has it been included in our English textbook? Yes, that's something to ponder upon, is it not? Well, the very reason to study this phenomena is the objective to understand human behavior in a crisis or calamity like this. To know how people reacted, tackled, dealt, or confronted such crisis. And how would this help us? It would help us as lessons to be imbibed for life. It would help us to deal with anything similar, a crisis or a calamity. Now let us take the latest example of the COVID-19 crisis the entire world is suffering from. What are we doing as to overcome it successfully? We are taking data and information from other countries. We are taking lessons from earlier pandemics that have hit human life. What did people do then? We are studying those incidents to help us deal with ours now in a more effective manner. Experts are taking data and information from the past crisis to overcome our present crisis. Did we also not serve history to get certain tips or suggestions? Yes, we all did. So, to sum up, we are studying this chapter to study the human behavior and experiences so as to take learning and emerge as wiser human beings. With this, we come to the end of the chapter. Do complete your assignment for the same.